guys, today I have a tutorial on this glittery smoky eye look for you. If you want to see more tutorials, definitely hit the subscribe button and the bell notification below so you can be notified every time that I upload. The first step in any routine that you do with your makeup, of course, you want to hydrate your skin and prime. So what I'm going to do today is use the Believe the True Cream Aqua Balm. And I like this because it is a gel and it's not going to be as heavy as a cream will, and it absorbs pretty quickly. Now let that go ahead and settle in, and I like doing my eyes first, that way I avoid any fallout. And you know, if you get the fallout, it's going to ruin your makeup, so I always go with my eyes first. The first step for eyes I do is going to be to prime the eyes, and for that I'm using the Smashbox 24-hour eyeshadow primer. And I just take some on my finger and rub that all over. And I even take what's left after I rub it on the top and just go across the bottom, since we do put shadow there as well. And then what I'm going to do is take just a light shade. I'm going to use my Laura Lee palette for this. I'm going to take the shade Basic and just put that mainly in the crease and towards the eyebrow to set that so that our transition shades blend easier. And I'm going to go in with a transition shade, and for this I'm going to use the shade Prispot. And as you can see, it's just a tad darker than our skin tone. It's nothing too dark. You always want to start with that type of shade first, and that way the darker shades that you'll use later on blend into that. For the next shade for the crease color, I'm going to use Britches. And you're going to put that below the first shade that you used, basically just in that actual crease area behind, kind of in the socket of your eye, that main crease you have there. We have hooded eyes, so I kind of have a fold over. I just use that to kind of guide me. And just blend that out until it looks how you want. Basically doing windshield wiper motion. Better to start off light, kind of like I did, and then just build it up. I normally end up going in with a second coat, sometimes 3, depending on the eyeshadow you're working with. Next step, I'm going to go in with a darker color for the outer V, so I'm going to use Bubs for that, just to kind of make it a little more smoky. And I know typically do these last after your lid color, but since we're using a glitter, I find it better to get these steps done for the most part before putting on the glitter. That way when you're doing your blending, the glitter doesn't fall out everywhere. And once we get that laid down, what I like to do is to go back with the same brush that we used for the very first color and just kind of go over the edge of that and blend it. For my favorite part for the lid color, we're going to use the Stila Magnificent Metal. This one's in the shade Smoldering Satin, and I really like these. What I do is I'll first go in and apply it with the applicator. What I'll do is, before it dries, I'll take a little concealer brush, this one's by Real Techniques, and just kind of blend the edges out. so there's not that harsh of a line there. Close my lid for a second and just let it dry. That way, since I have hooded eyes, if you go to blink a lot while it's still wet, it will catch at the top. And you don't want glitter all up in this area where your transition shade is. So just let it dry a second. And then we should be okay. It don't take too long to dry. And then the last step for the eyes for now, before we move on to face, is we're going to add some black, just a little black to the outer corner. Just to kind of deepen it up a little. When I do that, I kind of put it closer just to the lash line on the outer V. Alright, and now to prep for our foundation, we're going to go in and prime. And I'm going to use two primers today. The first primer I'm going to use more on the outer parts of the face is going to be the Ambient Light Correcting Primer by Hourglass. And more so on the T-zone, I'm going to take the NYX Pore Filler. And then for this look, since it is something that we want to last longer, I'm going to go in also with the Photo Finish Primer Water by Smashbox. And just do a light coating of that. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. Alright, now that that has had time to settle in, we're going to go ahead and start with our foundation. And I'm going to use my Eco Tools sponge for that, and the Maybelline Super Stay Better Skin in the shade 20 Classic Ivory. And what I do is just apply some to the back of the sponge and just kind of start on the outer and just blend that in. Don't forget your ears, behind your ears. Drag it down some. And then once you've done that, go ahead in with your concealer. And I'm going to take just a tad of the Shape Tape because it is a heavier concealer, and if you put too much it tends to look cakey and it's drying, and I have a kind of dry under eye, so what I do is just put this where I have the most darkness, which is kind of in the inner corner and then down below that. And then I'll blend that in using the smaller Eco Tools sponge that comes in the set, and just kind of blend that in there. Really good for getting up in there in that inner corner, and I like that it has the flat edge to get up against the under eye. And then what I'll do is go in next with the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Dark Circle Eraser, and I'll use that kind of over that and for the rest of the area. And I'll also put some down my nose, a little bit on the forehead, some here, and a little on the chin, just to kind of brighten up the center of the face. I'll go in with the round side just to kind of blend it even more. I want to try to make it look as seamless as possible. Especially here, you don't want the line where you can actually notice that it's lighter than the rest of your foundation. Then we're going to go in and set that concealer, and for under the eye, I'm going to use the Prime and Stay Finishing Powder by e.l.f. And this is in their translucent shade. For something like this, that look like this, you're probably going to be taking photographs, and you don't want to use a loose powder because those will give you awful flashback in your pictures, and no one wants that. So I tend to go with something that's pressed, such as this one, when I know I'll be taking photos. To set the rest of the face, I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Super Stay Better Skin powder. That's also in the shade 20, Classic Ivory, just like the foundation that we used. I just go in with a big fluffy brush, tap off the excess, and then just do the same pressing motion. And then once everything is set into place, we're going to go ahead and bronze up just a little bit. And I've been using something that I got in Ipsy recently by Ciate London. It's their Bamboo Bronzer. And it's a lighter shade, which I like that because it's not too orange but not too cool toned. It's perfect. And we'll just go in, and we're not contouring with this. We're just going to kind of bronze up a little, so it doesn't need to be as precise as if you were going to contour. And then we're going to go ahead and contour, and for that I'm using the Catrice Prime and Fine. It's in the shade 10, Ashy Radiance. And what I do is first go in with a brush like this that's going to make it a precise contour, and just start where the tip of your ear is and kind of go down to your natural line most of us have there. And don't worry, we're going to blend it out in just a second. I just like to go in and place it where I want it first. Want to go in and just blend it out a bit. You don't want to drag it down. I kind of just stick with the back and forth motion. If you want, you can, pull it up a little, but do not drag it down. And then I'm going to do just a light nose contour. Don't do too much, just a simple line. You want to connect it up to kind of where your eyebrow starts so it looks natural. Main thing with my nose is, I don't care about the size as much. It doesn't bother me, but I do have the knots on the sides. So I tend to go over those to try to draw some attention away from them to where it looks more like a shadow there. And then for blush, I'm going to go in with the Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush. It's in the shade Party. And just start at the apples of the cheeks and kind of pull it back there. And I like for my blush and contour to meet up. So I just kind of blend it to the tip of that contour line. And I don't like too much, so I do tap off my brush a few times before I go in, because I'm not that big of a fan of blush, but I do like a little, just to kind of pull everything together. And then for my favorite part, highlight, I'm going to first take some Benefit What's Up and pop that just on the highest point of the cheekbone. And what I do is I just take my finger and grab a little bit and pop that there. And this is just going to help our highlighter we're putting on top to pop and also last longer, because it's going to give it something to adhere to. And then once you have the cream highlighter down, you're going to go in with your powder highlighter. And I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Mega Glow, and it's in Precious Petals. And you're just going to put that over where you have the cream. And then I like to take mine up here a little. And then you'll have the nice glow here. And before we move on and finish our eyes, what I like to do is put some balm or something, whatever you have on, to kind of prep your lips, especially if you're using a liquid lipstick. You don't want them to be dry. And I'm using the Purely's Daily Lip Nourisher for that. And then we're going to go ahead and finish off our eyes now. And the first thing we're going to do is just go back in with our black. And I like to use just an eyeliner brush for this. This is just an e.l.f. eyeliner brush. And just do a tapping motion into the powder. Then knock off the excess. And then you're just going to tap this on the outer edge, just the very outer edge, so it kind of meets up with the black that we put in the outer V. We're not going to take it all the way across. Just like that. And what I like to do is also we'll go in with the brown that we used, which was Bubs. And for this I'm using just a smudger brush. This one's by Scone Cosmetics. And do the same, just tap in, knock off the excess. And we're going to go over where the black ends here and meet the two together and bring it in to about where your pupil is if you're looking straight. And then I like to go over the black with it, just kind of below it, and blend it with the brown. For the inner corner, what we're going to do is take our glitter that we used on the top and that same concealer brush that we blended that out with, and we're going to just take a little bit off of that applicator onto the concealer brush, and we're actually going to put that along here where we did not put anything, just to kind of make it pop even more. And just along the very outside of the eye where it meets the inner corner. I like to do after all of that is go back in with that very first brush in our transition shade that we used and just go over and kind of blend everything out again. Just make sure everything's seamless here. Before we do our mascara, we're going to go in and set everything, and we're going to use the Make It Last by onlne. And now it's time for some mascara. And I'm going to use the Hypnose Drama by Lancome. And the last step for the eyes for now is going to be to add eyeliner in the waterline, and for this I'm using the NYX Slide On, Glide On, Stay On, and definitely a Turn On Waterproof Extreme Shine Eyeliner. And that just makes it look even more smoky. If you want, you can go in with some falsies. So the final step is going to be our lips, and I'm going to go with the Ciate London Liquid Velvet. It's in the shade Diva. I figured it would be good for this look since we're doing the smoky dramatic eye. We have the red dress. We'll go ahead and do a bold red lip. Actually, that wasn't our last step. Next, we're going to pop some highlighter onto the lips. I like to just put a little bit here and a little on the cupid's bow. And then we'll highlight the brow bone and a little on the nose, and that'll be it. And that's it for this look, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This is my first tutorial, so if there's any tips, anything you would like to see me do that I didn't, or anything you would like to see different next time, definitely let me know. I'm open to constructive criticism. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Bye.